Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. As you can tell from the title of this video, we're going to be reviewing another Sheglam product. This time it's a foundation. It's called Skinfinite Hydrating Foundation, and this is going to be the first foundation from Sheglam I review, so I'm quite excited about it because I've got a very positive experience so far with their eyeshadow palette and eye products. And yeah, like I said, this is gonna be the first face product to review. They came out with 30 different shades for this foundation, and I am actually going to swatch all of them for you because they sell not just the full-size foundation, which is, by the way, £7.49, which is really good for even a drugstore foundation, but they also sell sample size versions of each shade for 49p, and I decided to pick up all of them so that I can swatch them for you, and if it's gonna work out well, I will go on and purchase the full-size version of whichever shade obviously suits the most my skin tone. This is a hydrating foundation, so it's gonna be more suited for normal to dry skin. I personally have combination skin, which is more oily in the T-zone and dehydrated on the cheeks. I do enjoy some glow because my face looks quite dull if I don't use anything on it. This is definitely a glowy formula, so I'm very excited to see how it will look on my skin. They claim that it's a medium coverage, but I just have a feeling that it's more gonna be like a buildable one, and like I mentioned in my previous videos, I do enjoy a lighter coverage, so I will try not to build it up to a medium coverage, but obviously we will see how much coverage we can get out of it. This foundation has really good reviews on the Sheglam website. However, I must say that most products have really good reviews on their website. People don't really tend to complain on there, so I was really curious to see for myself how it works, and also how it works for combination skin, because like I said, things like this will mainly work for people with dry to normal skin. We shall see how this will look like and how it holds up over time, because hydrating foundations don't really tend to last that long, or don't really tend to look that good after a couple of hours. So yes, the structure of this video is gonna be first applying the foundation, seeing how it looks like. Then I'm gonna go off camera, I will finish the rest of my makeup. Then we're gonna come back with the first check-in, which is gonna be after about 4 hours. Then I will show you swatches of all the shades, and then I'm gonna come back and finish off the video with my final review after about 8 hours. So let's get into it. I zoomed you guys in as much as I could, so I think we're ready to start applying the foundation. I have a bunch of the samples that I saved from yesterday when I was swatching all of the shades on my arms. These are all the light to medium shades that I thought could suit my skin tone. So I found 3 shades that seem to be the closest to my skin tone. I'm gonna first start with swatching those. The very first is gonna be the shade Nude. When I buy skin product, I tend to go with the shade Nude. This seems like a quite good color actually. Maybe a little bit too yellow. Could be a bit more cool toned. So I'm gonna check the next one. Next one I have is the shade Peach. I don't know if this is just lighter or more yellow, but I feel like Nude was better than this. Next we have the shade Wheat. That actually looks quite good because I can hardly even see that I put anything on my skin, so I think all 3 of them look quite good so far. Wheat is maybe a little bit too dark. Peach is maybe a little bit too yellow, but now that I let it settle on the skin, it's actually looking better and better. And I think so far Nude is the best, but I'm gonna swatch one more, and that is gonna be the shade Shell. Now, Shell looks a lot lighter, but I'm curious to see. Yeah, Shell is far too light. The reason I wanted to check is because the shade I used from Too Faced is actually called Shell, and I just thought that maybe that's gonna work the best, but it's just too light. I think what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna mix nude and peach together just to make sure I have enough for my full face. And if I don't have enough, then I'm gonna mix shell and wheat together and add that into the mixture. But for my skin tone personally, I think nude works the best. Okay, so first I'm gonna remove this. Then I put some of the shade nude on my brush and then start applying it. Oh, it actually looks much lighter than I thought it would now that I apply it on the whole face. It definitely cancels out the redness of my skin. Doesn't look bad, I just feel like it's a bit too yellow for me. I guess we shall see once it starts setting. I wonder if the shade Wheat, which I originally thought was too dark, would actually help with this. Although I didn't really find any of the shades particularly cool toned. They all seem to be quite warm toned, which I guess is good news for most of you, because a lot of girls tend to look for warmer toned foundations. Although I guess warmer could mean more olive toned, not necessarily more yellow toned. Okay, I'm gonna mix in some of the peach shade now. I think down on my neck you can definitely tell that it's not my color. Maybe once I'm done with this I will zoom out a bit and then you guys can see better. I am actually gonna take some of Shell and brighten this up a bit because I feel like I look really, really yellow. I think mixing some of Shell in it definitely calmed down all that yellowness going on. Well, it turns out that nude is probably not my shade. I think a mixture of peach and Shell is the best. It's very hard to swatch a foundation on just a small area of the face, because your face is a lot more three-dimensional, you have a lot of colors going on, and you definitely don't want the foundation to completely flatten the face. Alright, so this is how we're looking so far. I think it looks quite nice. I definitely don't think it blurs your pores. It actually emphasizes them quite a lot. I remember having very similar results from the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, for example. Especially here in the forehead area, the pores are quite enlarged. The cheeks look really nice though. You can definitely tell that it was designed more for that dehydrated skin rather than skin with enlarged pores. The foundation feels quite sticky at this point, and I can see it creasing, for example on my eyelid. So I think you need to be quite quick setting this foundation. I definitely don't think that you can go without setting it because it's so sticky you wouldn't be able to apply anything on top of it. And yesterday when I was doing these swatches, I noticed that foundation takes a very, very long time to actually set and dry down. So you will either have to sit down for a while until it completely dries down, or you will need to be careful and not let it crease until you set it. For example, now on my eyelids again you can see that it started creasing. That's quite unfortunate. They claim that this foundation is very lightweight, it mimics the skin, it's very breathable and you don't feel that it's there. I would somewhat agree with that. There are certain areas of the face where I do feel the foundation. For example, in this area I can definitely feel it, especially because of that stickiness I mentioned. But Otherwise, it does feel quite lightweight. Obviously, we will see later on in the day how it feels. I'm gonna go off camera now and I'm gonna finish the rest of my makeup, and once I'm done, I will be back and we have another look at it. Alright guys, so as you can see, the rest of my makeup is completed now. I still find it quite yellow. It might not be that bad through the camera, but this is definitely not my color. It's okay, but it's just a bit off. Regardless, that's just my personal issue with this foundation. Obviously, we're not here to review the color. You very likely will be able to find your color, so this is just my own rambling. Regardless of that, the foundation looks good. It doesn't look heavy. I don't think it looks that glowy though. After you set it, it doesn't look any different from other foundations. I do feel like a lot will depend on what kind of a powder you set it with. I used my Ben Nye powder. I obviously have some highlighter on. I used my Charlotte Tilbury Bronze and Glow kit. So yeah, this is how it looks so far. It looks quite natural. Like I said, the foundation itself is not blurring at all, but once you set it with a mattifying powder, your pores kind of disappear, again very similarly to other hydrating foundations. So yeah, we look alright so far. I wouldn't say that is the best foundation I've ever used, but so far it's definitely not worse than the higher end foundations I have tried, and obviously money wise it is a lot cheaper than those. So yeah, I'm very excited to see how this will look in a couple of hours. Like I said before, I'm gonna be off camera now for about 4 hours, and when I'm back we're gonna do a check-in, and then I will show you the swatches of every single shade in this line. Okay guys, first check-in. I think it looks quite nice so far. I'm gonna zoom you guys in so you can see it a bit better. Everything stayed pretty much in place. I don't see any separation. I think it is getting a bit shinier than it was before, but really the only thing that bothers me is the color. Like I said before, is just a bit off. Also, I don't think this foundation looks as natural as they would like it to be. It doesn't look bad, but you can definitely tell that I'm wearing a foundation. It's not that lightweight at all. I have done a foundation review not that long ago of the Urban Decay Hydromaniac foundation. I know you can't really compare them because this is a lot more expensive than what I'm wearing right now, but it's so much better, you guys. I mean, this is £7.50. This is £29. You can get it for, I would say, about £23 on quite a few websites. So I would say it's about 3-4 times more expensive than what I'm wearing right now. Now, for £7.50, this does not look bad at all. I just wanted to mention that if you are looking for a hydrating foundation that looks very natural, that one looks a lot better than this. But once again, it's £7.50, so it's cheaper than a L'Oreal or most Maybelline foundations, for example, and for that price point it looks really good. We're gonna leave this on for another 4 hours because obviously we wanna see if anything changes later on. Like I said before, my biggest worry about a hydrating foundation is how it's gonna hold up over a longer time. So yeah, we're gonna leave this on and we shall see how it's gonna look a bit later. Now, as I mentioned before, I have swatched yesterday every single shade in this line on my arm. So I'm gonna put some music on and I will show you every single shade swatched on my arm with names, of course. And when I'm back, it's gonna be 4 hours from now, and that's gonna be our final check-in, and I will tell you my final thoughts of this foundation.
Day breaks and I'm burned by the morning light. I make the same mistake more than twice. Same song, but brand new dance. I wear out my third second chance. You take my breath and I can't get it back. Might be time for me to face the facts. The best me is with you, but I know I got a lot to prove. They think we're too damaged to fix, but we're just working through a little rust. They like to say we're just young, but I know we won't give this up. Sometimes I lose my mind, and some days it's hard to find the reason why you stay by my side. You and I break our hearts open enough just to see if we'll put them back. No matter what they try, I'll stay by your side. It's you and I. It's you and I. We go back and forth every time, waiting for one of us to cross the line. You got me and I got you, and we got a lot to prove. They think we're too damaged to fix, but we're just working through a little rust. They like to say we're just young, but I know we won't give this up. Sometimes I lose my mind, and some days it's hard to find the reason why you stay by my side. You and I break our hearts open enough just to see if we'll put them back. No matter what they try, I'll stay by your side. It's you and I. It's you and I. It's you and
Okay guys, final check-in now. I hope you enjoyed those swatches. I thought I should just take advantage of the opportunity that Shein lets you purchase a sample size of every single foundation shade. I'm actually planning on doing another one with another Sheglam foundation, and I hope you enjoy it. I don't normally have this opportunity, so I really wanted to do a full review and show you every single shade. By the way, if you are struggling to decide which shade to pick up even after seeing the swatches, you can totally do the same. Just order 2-3 sample size ones, test them out. It will allow you to see how it works on your skin before purchasing the full size product, and obviously it will also allow you to see which shade will suit you the most. I just zoomed you guys in one more time so you can properly see how the foundation looks like. Honestly, I think it looks exactly the same as before. The only thing I can see is that here in this area it's getting a bit shiny. Obviously the forehead is shiny as well, but it is a hydrating foundation, so I did not expect it to keep me matte whatsoever. I had a problem with it from the beginning between my brows, but that's where normally foundations tend to look the worst on me. And I also had to blow my nose once, which made the foundation come off somewhat. Another thing is that I was wearing my glasses for a couple of hours and it definitely removed the foundation, so that's not a good sign for people wearing glasses. Other than that though, it looks beautiful on my cheeks. I can definitely say that the type of skin I have in this area is what is suited the most for the foundation. Maybe the foundation was rubbing off on the nose because I'm more oily in that area, and this foundation is not really made for oily skin. Other than that, it's looking fine. Yeah, the only thing I can say is that on the nose area, because it's oily, because I was wearing glasses, and because I blew my nose, it's a bit ugly. I'm not gonna lie. It is a bit patchy. You can see where the glasses were, and it's just not looking the best in that area. Everywhere else it looks really, really good. One more thing I wanted to do before we go is I want to swatch a little bit over the foundation on the back of my hand. This is the shade Shell. It's one of the shades we used, and this is the shade Peach, which is the other shade we used. I don't actually feel like it oxidized that much, because if you compare the shade Peach to my face, it's very, very similar actually. So I don't think that you need to choose a shade lighter or anything like that. It's not gonna oxidize a lot. But like I said, it's a quite yellow foundation, so unless you have a quite warm tone skin, you might struggle find the shade for you. I haven't really seen any shade that would perfectly suit my skin tone. Maybe if I mix a couple of them, and obviously I'm gonna use concealer on the top of it, bronzer, highlight, and so those will balance it out somewhat, but I'm definitely a lot more yellow than what I'm used to. Once again, if you can afford higher end foundations, something like the Urban Decay Hydromaniac is going to look a lot better than this. But for £7.50, if you're looking for a foundation that looks quite natural, quite hydrating, it doesn't feel heavy on the skin, and you have perfect skin that's not oily, and you're not wearing glasses, then this is gonna look really, really good. Because once again, in this area where my skin is quite dry, it's looking flawless. I really, really like the way it looks in this area. It did not emphasize the imperfection of the skin at all, so my highlighter looks really, really good on top of it. But yeah, it has some issues. It's definitely not a perfect foundation, but I think it's worth 50p to pick up a sample size and try it out yourself. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because I would love to have you here. And until next time, take care of yourself. I will see you very soon.